Hello. So I have the pleasure of speaking with Jay Andrews today, and I've been getting to know him just a little bit. I'm learning that he is a real survivor and one of the most positive, uplifting conversations I've had in a while. So I'm really excited to get to speak with you and go more in depth about what you do and what you have to share with people. Can you just introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about who you are and what you do.
Sure. I'm Jay Andrews, living in our capital city of Ottawa in Canada here. And I'm basically, in a nutshell, a motivational speaker talking about adversity and resilience, and a leadership coach, and help people build those leadership skills. And everybody thinks it has to be in a business, but you also need leadership skills in everyday life. And that's dealing with people, spouses, children, friends and family. It's not only slotted into the workplace. We also have to show up as leaders. People usually use the hat as a leader, as a parent, but you also have to come up as a leader, as a spouse, and and as a friend. So leadership has many hats, and so I try to teach people you don't get pigeonholed into just using that in the workforce. Use it in everyday life.
Yeah. So, what is it like in Canada right now? I can speak from what we're seeing here just in California. Do you know if there's anything different today and how we're responding to this pandemic in Canada versus the US?
I think what the big difference is I don't want to get into politics here,
Sure.
but I think the big difference is that we truly, our government and how it was happening here is they were really truly relying on the science and figuring out they were really basing everything on science. And were there a few mistakes made? Yes, governments are going to make mistakes all the time. I mean, let's face it, we are perfectly imperfect. And if people can truly understand that, then we don't get bent out of shape when people screw up. Now, if they're continuously screwing up, there might be a problem there, because the key is that if we make a mistake, hopefully we learn from it and we don't remake the mistake again.
Yeah, definitely.
But here in Canada, I mean, obviously the population is not as dense within our brothers and sisters to the south, and so but each province has high numbers. Ontario is quite high, and BC is pretty bad, and Quebec is as bad as well. But I think it has to do with where we're located geographically on the map. Like, Vancouver's so close to Seattle, and there's a bad area that's going on down there, and then we're so close to New York, and all the issues that's happening there. So I just think we're entrusting what's going on. There's lockdowns. There's only essential services. Everyone is asked to stay inside their home, and the true heroes out there are all our paramedics and police officers, first responders, doctors, people that are in the grocery stores. Those are the men and women that are putting their lives on the line every day, so that you and I can have this conversation, so to speak.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it's really unifying to hear and realize that we're kind of, well, not kind of, but really, really in the same boat where we're all stuck in our houses, no matter where you're from.
Yeah.
So that's nice to have that relatability no matter where you're at right now. It's unifying all over.
And, and people think that, oh no, I'm stuck in the house and all these things that come with that. But I teach, coach, and speak with people all the time. And my famous thing that people know me for is flip the script. So whatever it is that you see in front of you, you have the ability and the mindset within inside yourself to flip it. It is a choice. You could choose to, say this is the way it's going to be, and if it goes down a negative road, then that's the road that the choice is being made. or you can choose to flip it and try to make the best of the situation.
So if I was your audience for motivating, and I was trying to flip my thought process from a negative, which I am seeing a lot on social media. You know, some people are just like, I can't handle it.
Right?
You know, I'm so depressed. I saw a girl say recently, I don't see anything worth living right now. It's just too hard. I can't handle it. I think she lost her job. For somebody like that, or the people that are saying those things or feeling those things, what would be the one thing you could say that they could do to flip it? What's the actionable step that someone could take to flip that mindset?
Flip that mindset. Yeah. I think the first and most important thing is really think about what is the one thing, and everyone that has this. I don't care who you are on this planet. I don't care where you are in this world, because we're all faced with this, is that everyone has this one love or this passion, this fire that's inside of them, that there's one thing. Whatever that one thing is, now maybe that's outside of the home. Maybe you're fortunate enough it's inside of the home. But the key is you need to write it down. Because once you write it down, and then once you write it down, say it out loud. And if people are with you and you say this one word out loud and they look at you funny, it's not for them. This is for you. There is something to be said about having something that's inside your soul that you feel, and you write it down and then actually say it aloud so your other senses can hear it. So you're actually hearing the words. That's the first step in knowing that there is hope, that there is something that's going to get through at the end of the finish line. Like, I know the analogy is, we hear doctors, and I see it on CNN and NBC in the United States and CBS, and here in Canada, it's, all our CTV and CBC, all the, radio, or news affiliates. And they're saying it's not just a sprint, it's a marathon. And there is actually truth to this, right? And I think this is the whole point of writing down that thing that you are just unbelievable passionate about, and that one thing you love that makes you, or just makes you the most unique and incredible person that you are and that everyone else is. And that's the thing you hold on to. And then once you have that, then you can start thinking about what are all the things that you never had time for.
Right.
Right? No, because people for the longest time wore this badge of honor of, I'm busy. I'm so busy. You know what I do? I work 12 hours, and I've got 2 kids, and I've got this, and I have that, and a dog, and I play sports, and I'm part of the PTA, or I'm part of, yes, okay, you're busy. And then people wore that with a badge of honor, but now that badge has been ripped off the sleeve, and now people have time. And if you ask somebody 6 weeks ago, prior to all this going on, what was the one thing somebody would have probably said in the top 5? They probably would have asked for time. I wish I had more time. And now,
yeah, here you go.
And here we are. And so, what better way to now take advantage of this time? And so for myself, who's a parent of 4 teenage boys, it's like, well, it's not just me. I have to say,
probably very full right now.
the house. I am very fortunate to live in a very decent sized home, so you can separate. But even separation, the house still feels small. But that being said, it's I have to give full credit to my wife. She's like, I always say, she gets 5-star every day. She's just amazing. And but it's a collective between the two of us. But with her being so busy normally, and myself as well, we have the time now to actually be present with our kids. And having teenagers, that can be awkward sometimes, right? Because they don't necessarily want to be conversing all the time. And I can respect that. But I'm sure people at home can relate to this. When you're in the office space, sometimes you're not talking to people, but you're actually in the same room. And so there's that energy, that vibe that kind of makes you feel, okay, I feel part of something. And
Yeah.
I think it's super important to any parents out there who have children, or they're with a spouse or whatever the situation. If you're sharing your personal space with another individual, there's not a necessity to speak all the time, but being in the same room, that energy, that silent energy can actually speak volumes and can help fill your bucket. Even if it's just a little bit, one drop adds so much more that wasn't there before. So we're finding now being with our kids is great. And
That's awesome.
yeah, it's just, and for that woman that you were speaking about earlier about, it's like she lost her job. You know what? Whatever the term you're using, you could say, everyone says God has a purpose for everyone, or the universe speaks to us in certain ways. I'm not saying that a job's not important, because it sure is, because you need to put money and food on and a roof over your head.
Right.
But this could be your opportunity to say, you know what? I'm going to find something better after this. I'm going to start now to better myself. So when things get somewhat back to normal, I'm going to be a better person, and I'm going to get a better job, or I'll be in a better living situation, or I have a set idea or a clearer vision of what I want to be doing, which will maybe I'll travel more, or I'll see my friends more, or I'll go and visit that one place I said I was going to do, but now, after what I've just been through, I'm definitely going to go and do it.
Yeah, definitely.
It's an area of opportunity for all of us.
Yeah, I totally agree. So when you're saying that energy in the room and how you get that in the office, it actually made me think, we've been actually praising working from home lately during all of this. We've been trying to find the positive in that.
Right.
But you make a really good point. There are positives in the office, and there's positives to being remote. So with that point that you're making, do you feel that there's another way to get that vibe or connection with your team remotely?
Absolutely. So I'm just going to throw a few ideas out here, because I've actually had this conversation with some people, and then they actually got back to me like, holy crap, Jay, like it was the best thing. And so, like, there's so many things out there now. Like when life was normal, we had so many apps on our phone, and there were so many things that were going on in this world that would connect us in certain type of way through social media. Well, now some of it is just a lot of noise, which it was back then, but there are some really good things out there. And why not set up I called it the group jam. So if you are working with a bunch of people, you set up a Zoom call or a group meeting. And what you can do is that everybody puts together a playlist, and everybody submits their playlist. And so what's going to happen is that when you're in the office working, everybody has an opportunity, and you can do two things. One person gets to play their 4 or 5 track playlist, because depending on how many people, you can make the playlist longer or shorter, or each individual gets to play one track. And you should see, like, I got people send me some video, and they're like, you see somebody working at their computer, and they, you can see the screens, and then you can tell that they're into, I guess, pop music or whatever,
Right.
top 40. And all of a sudden a country song came on, and they're giggling, and they're trying to focus, and they're just smirking, right? And you can just tell that it's not their jam and it's not their thing, and it's just, music has a way of bonding everyone together.
Mm-hmm.
And again, music shows our uniqueness and our speciality of who we are as individuals. And it lightens up something that you need to get through the day, but it shows us that we're connecting as well. And I threw that out at some people and they got back to me and they said it was one of the best things they ever did. So
That's a really good idea. I like that.
and when you're at home working by yourself, so say you're by yourself and you're working at home. Oh my gosh, think about this. If you have to go on camera, yes, you have to wear maybe a nice shirt or a blouse or a dress shirt, but you could be wearing your pajama bottoms. No one's going to see you from below. You know what I mean? Like, have some fun with this. Think about all the coffee you're going to be able to drink during the course of the day. And
Yeah.
it's like, you want to go out and step out for some fresh air, you open your front door, it's there. If you're in an apartment, you go into your balcony. You can play whatever music you want to. You don't have someone say, turn it down. You're not having someone say, please don't play that. Like you have the opportunity to make the environment that you are in the best, environment that you can thrive in.
That is a really great idea. I think maybe we'll bring that up with our team. This is jam session. That's very cool. I like that. And as far as having the teenagers in the house, so I have a 7-year-old and I realized how much more food that I'm going through. Just curious, are you like having trouble just like loading the fridge and it emptying as fast as you're loading it up?
Yes, the cost of food has gone up a bit. One of the things I've done, now I do all the cooking in my home. And so that's one of my passions and loves is put on some Frank Sinatra, a good glass of red wine, and I'm in my element, and I just love being in the kitchen. And but what I'm trying to do is meal plan, but in the same time while I'm meal planning, I'm trying to get the boys involved. Now, am I asking to make some gourmet meal or whatever? No, but I can say to them, what meals do you actually like eating? Right. And, so one of the boys loves butter chicken. I'm like, okay, easy. So what I'll do is that I'll prep the chicken stuff like this, and then I'm like, here, all I need you to do is get the ingredients, and put an apron on, and we're in the kitchen. So not only are you bonding with your children, and now they're taking ownership of a meal instead of just being the person that sits at the table and inhales. There's more an appreciation because they had a hand in it. And I think one of the best things we can do with our children, regardless of their age, 7, 5, 3, 13, 18, whatever it is, have them be part of the everyday function. Now, the older they are, they should have more of a commanding role, what goes on in the home. But I think it's important, regardless of the little ones, it should become like a fun activity, or they should be in it. And if I have found if you have them participating, food consumption may drop a bit. It's not like they're constantly opening the cupboard and just, how many people out there, when they see their child open the fridge and they just stand there, like, what are you doing? Yeah. I'm looking for something to eat or the cupboard, right? And I think if we help have them participate in even what type of snacks do you want? Instead of crackers and cheese, what about fruit? What about some oranges or apples? Maybe the treat is apples and peanut butter. I don't know. But it's just like you try to figure it out. And or what we've done is one of our boys, he's not a big apple guy, but he thinks having peanut butter with it is just like, like you got a chocolate bar or something, right? It's that kind of a treat. And but you get his participation in it. It's like, what would make having fruit better? And he's like, what? Peanut butter. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. So it's like you as a parent win. They win because they think they're getting what they want. And there's more of a compromise. And then they're seeing the effort of wash the apple, cut it up in slices, like get the peanut, put it in a dish. Like they're seeing all the process of it, and they appreciate it more. I mean, this is what I'm not a doctor. I don't have a PhD, but I do, being a parent, I do, and seeing other people, parents, seeing other children, have seen that when you involve young people, children, they tend to appreciate what they have. And really, So aren't they just like adults? If we get adults to participate a bit more and give them more of a say or feel that they're contributing more, then it gives a better vibe or a better thing going on.
Absolutely.
And I mean, let's face it, our kids are going to be adults one day, so might as
Yeah,
well start
hopefully
them
not
a
too
little.
soon. Not too soon, but yeah, I definitely I get my son to eat vegetables by letting him pick out which ones and say, okay, any vegetable you want. We're in the aisle, pick one, and I'll make something out of it. Um, so money saving tips on groceries. Have your kids cook. So,
Yeah, no, but it really does work because you know what? And I mean, let's face it, some of our kids, majority of our children, regardless of the age, they don't understand how much food costs, right?
right.
They don't. And so if they say we want whatever type of thing that goes with a meal, and we know, let's say, ground beef or steak
Hmm.
is expensive, right? Like a T-bone steak is not cheap, right?
Right.
It's expensive, and say that's what they love. You can explain to them saying this one T-bone steak costs say $27. That
Hmm.
$27 would buy a salad, carrots, potatoes, um, you know,
And
I'm
some
just using
chicken.
vegetables here.
Yeah.
Green beans, like all that money would buy all that food, and all that food would give us 3 or 4 meals.
Right.
Or you can get this one thing and it gives you one meal.
Yeah.
And I think, and that's how we did it with our teenage boys, because now they're kind of understanding, like, I get it. Okay,
Mm.
so you're trying to stretch the money, because let's face it, we're all under a lot of financial strain. Most of us, whether we're, doesn't matter where you are in this world, a lot of us are feeling the financial strains. So
Mm-hmm.
we're trying to maximize the dollar as far as it can go. And I think if you do have children in the house, it's not covering their eyes and not letting them know what's going on, but it's giving them a little bit of insight on kind of the dynamics of how food works.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think you say we're all, you know, financially things are just changing, and even if I know people who are doing really well right now, I think even they are extremely aware that we don't know how many months this is going on. We don't know how it's going to affect more companies. We don't know. We didn't know that the gyms were all going to close, and then that we were
But
all,
you can work it in your house.
yeah, that's what's happening.
Yep.
So I've noticed that you are just really great at anything I throw at you. You can just turn it into something positive. I'm like, okay. So I feel like I could tell you the house burnt down and you got something good to say about it. And
I don't know. I mean, that'd be tough,
find
but
the silver lining.
right.
And so I just want you to share where you got that gift of being able to stay so positive, and you share about resilience, and that is something that is so so important right now. We all need
Um,
some resilience. So if you could tell me your background there.
yeah. I would love to say I was born with this, and maybe I was. I think I've always been an optimist, but I think the light, so to speak, uh, came on over 10 years ago. Um, so there was 3 major things. Not we all, but sometimes major life events happen to us, and either we wake up or we continue to sleepwalk. I'm not saying one's worse or right than the other, but for myself, three three things happened to me. So and they all happened within a span of just over a year, shy of just a year, 2 months or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
So first thing was I was diagnosed with a blood disorder that there is no cure for. Um, and that was very hard to hear when I was in my 30s, because I was healthy, I was in shape, had the corporate job and had what I thought was a lot of friends and, the white picket fence and this sort of life, right? And that was a bit of a reality check and a punch in the stomach to find out that I won't see past 70. And that took a long time to come to terms with. But as I was saying to you earlier, that knowing your expiration date has been a blessing. And don't freak out about the small stuff anymore. It really puts your life in perspective, and you don't take anything for granted. And getting up every day, it's like, wow, I get to do this again. Like, even though it might have been a shitty day, but if I learned from that bad day, if I really truly understood from that bad day, then you know what? Then I get to do it again and not make that mistake, or learn from what that was. And it's a blessing to get up and be able to breathe on this planet every single day, because we have so much to offer and so much to give to so many people. We give to people and we don't even know we're doing it. And the reason why we don't know, because people don't share what a gift we are to them. They don't tell us. And maybe considering what we're going through right now, more people will say, thank you. You've changed my life. You'll help me. Maybe we'll start hearing that a bit more. To follow back. So I go through this doctor's, epiphany of this disorder that I have. And shortly afterwards, I was involved in a pretty horrific car accident that should have claimed my life. There's no medical reason why I'm alive. And I had to spend the better half of 11 and a half months retraining the left side of my body to, be strong again, to walk. They told me I never run, which I proved them wrong, and was able to do that. And while I was at the tail end of my rehab, I was diagnosed with cancer. And I was, I'm here with you, and I beat cancer. So it's like a boxing ring, right? Life, you're in the ring with imagine being everyone right now, everyone that's going through the crap that we're all going through now, lost your job, trying to figure out where money's going to come from, all these things. You're in the ring with life, okay? And say you're like Muhammad Ali and you're dancing around for all those people who remember who he was, and and life is taking swings at you, and you move out of the way, and you're like, well, that was close, but you're still in there, and then you get punched, but you don't go down, but you feel it, and you're like, that hurt, but I'm okay. Okay, I'm back. I lost my breath, but I'm back in there, and I'm going. And then you get hit again, but this time you hit the mat, and you have three options. You can lay there on the mat and just ask to be counted out.
Right.
Second option is you can turn to your corner and your coach and the people that support you, and they're in your corner all the time. They can throw in a towel and help you out and get you out of what you're going through. Mm-hmm. And that type of support. Or the third thing is you get up off your feet, get yourself up off the mat, look life in the face, and say, is that the best you got? Is it the best shot you got? Because I can take it, and now I'm going to give it back. And for me, I'm not saying whatever decision you make when you're laying on the ground, that really truly is up to an individual, right? Because we all make our decisions. Mm-hmm. But I believe in the human spirit, that we have it within us, even when it's the bleakest of moments. Look at what I've gone through. And there were dark days. That I wanted to pack it in and say, are you kidding me? Cancer now? And you want me to get through this? Yeah. I refused to let that beat me. And maybe one day something out there will eventually do that, but not on my watch, not on my time. Right. And I believe that we all have it within us, that you know, what's happening, the crisis in this global dynamic thing that we're all going through right now with the coronavirus, and it's touched everyone, is that we are truly seeing, I know we're hearing these horror stories about some of the horror bad things that are going on that
Yeah.
people are doing. And that's normal. We're always going to hear about the bad stuff because, you know, there was an old expression that my father used to say to me that he learns from in the media. And the person said to them that ran this major newspaper, it said, if it bleed, it leads. And
That's it.
so,
Yes.
you know, if it's bad news, it's going to be on the top of the thing to talk about. But
Yeah.
people need to understand is that there's so much good happening in this world right now. It's unbelievable. Humanity is being pushed, not pushed, we're being shoved. And you know what? We're not tipping over the cliff. We're actually getting stronger. You're seeing so many wonderful things out there. And these are the things that make me know that we all have it within us to get through what we're going through at this moment.
Yeah. No, I think that's great, and I think it's great that we are all in this together. Um, so I think it would be great if people have gone this far watching the video. I would be really interested to see if they would be willing to tag somebody that has been that light for them and has been that encouragement, because I think you're right. Sometimes people just don't know. There are people in my life that have helped me, and there are times when I've made a point to reach out, like even years later, say, you really helped me through that moment years ago. I don't think you realize that just, you know, that hug or that telling me I can do it, or whatever, actually went so much further than what you ever knew, was. And so I think that it's really nice to hear that and have that. So I'm hoping that some people watching this could be willing to say a little something and tag that person and just.
I think that's brilliant. I think that's such a wonderful idea. Yes. And you know what? Tag them. Or if you have the time, which we all do, is, you know what? Write a letter. And maybe if you're able to figure out where they are, actually mail them a letter and they can actually open up and read it, or send them a message, email, something like that. It's I know I personally have reached out to people. See, this is, you know what the beautiful thing is? No, but listen, this is beautiful because remember we were talking about earlier, I have this mantra, right? Life is live. And this
Yes,
is perfect.
love
Here
that.
we are, and someone's talking to you, a little one, and you're like, and this is perfect. This is the new world. This is great.
Yeah, been working with it because the kids are bored. They're not seeing their friends. They're they're like, play with me, hang out with me. They so yeah, we hear them more right now.
But there's things that can be done in the house, like what we did with our kids. I mean, a bit older, but we just took 2 red cups, and we have golf clubs downstairs, and then we just took a putter and a golf ball, and they had a tournament with putting on the carpet on this long stretch. We've done
Nice.
we took a garbage can out of the bathroom, put it up way high somewhere in the kitchen, took the socks, and everybody was having like free throws, and they were like, if whoever gets the most basket doesn't have to clean the bathroom, and so like everybody's in, right? Like who wants
Nice.
who wants to scrub the shower? I don't, and so everyone's in it, and you're just having fun. And the thing is like you're literally, I don't know, they've done paper airplanes, and they've done chucked them in the basement and what have you. And
Nice. I like the little competition idea. You play for chores. That's great.
there you go, right?
But I didn't want to distract from, you said that you have the mantra, and I think I got a little bit sidetracked.
Yeah, no, I loved it because it really is, it really truly is this, is that life is live.
Yeah.
And we are all experiencing that right now. And instead of like getting frustrated or upset, let's embrace it.
Yeah.
Because before, it's like, if you were busy on a call and your child interrupts you, your first instinct is like, are you kidding me? Do you not see I'm working right now?
Mortified. Yeah.
But now we're in a situation is that, why are we getting upset? It's like if you and I were on a business call right now, I'm sure I would be like, you got a little one, it's okay. And then you say hi to him or her, and you just kind of like go on, because that little interaction, whether it's 30 seconds or 3 minutes, it'll be over, and whatever we were discussing, we'll just pick up where we left off.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the whole thing about us as human beings, whether you're in the United States, Canada, in Europe, we will pick up and move forward. Will it be exactly the same as life as it was before this happened? Probably not, but it'll be close. And we have the capabilities of making this world better because we're learning from what has happened right now. And this is huge. There's a lot of good's going to come out of this. Think about, like, there's going to be a baby boom that's going to come out of this. And there are all these smart men and women out there, no matter what age they are. They have the opportunity now to stay home and come up with these brilliant ideas, write them down, put them in their computer, do what they need to do. And then all of a sudden, those ideas would never show up because they were working. And they never had the time to write and have this. And there's so much good is going to come out of you. Wait, the world is going to change in such a positive way. It's going to be good.
I definitely believe that we're going to have a creativity boom. There's going to be more music and books and just art that's going to come out.
Yeah.
And I think that that's going to be huge, especially when the doors open and we can all be released from our home.
Yes.
And I definitely think that will be something that happens. Do you think that this empathy that has been created in the world will soon be forgotten, or do you think it will carry over?
Oh, that's a big one. For someone who's an optimist, like for me, it's like I see the best in humanity, and I truly believe that it will continue. But I'm a strong believer also is we make choices, and you have to make the choice to choose to continue to show that empathy. If we go back to our old ways, we're going to get another kick in the pants until we wake up. And this, to me, we should all be looking at this as a wake-up call. And, let's make sure that we are healthy and we are taking care of ourselves healthy. Let's make sure that we are taking care of the planet. Let's make sure that we are being good to one another. It doesn't matter what religion, what color your skin is. It does not matter. At the end of the day, we all are human beings. And the key is beings. Like, we are being something. And we have the ability to be so much greater than we once were. And if we can wrap our head around that, we're going to be in good shape. And the empathy will be there.
I think that's a great perspective. So things have slowed down for you. You've been given extra time as well.
Yes.
So what is just one good key takeaway for everybody for going forward? What is like the one uplifting thing that you would say to everybody right now for this time as we kind of close out?
I would think really at the end of it is that everyone needs to understand, for the first time ever, globally, you're not alone. We walk this planet, a lot of people walk this planet thinking they were alone. I can tell you right now, the billions of us on this beautiful blue planet of ours, we're not alone. We, for the first time, we're all connected. No one is alone in any of this. And so if you have this anxiety of I'm alone, you're not alone. We're all together in this. And that, like I said to you earlier when we were talking, make sure you write down that one thing that makes you just live and light up like a Christmas tree and just lights that fire, and just write that down and say it out loud, because that is the one thing that will help you get through this. And everyone has something, so you don't get a cop out and say, I don't got anything. No, that's not true. Everyone's got something.
Yeah, I think you're right. And then this might be the time to figure out what that something is if you don't know.
Yeah. Quickly I'll share this, and I think everyone, if this is the one thing people take away from this, this is super important. There are 3 things to make sure that you are, we'll put in quotations, healthy. Okay. Sleep, exercise, and eating. Now, I'll leave it up to people to decide what they're going to eat, and I'll leave it up to for people to decide what exercise is going to be. But if you do those 3 things, you're going to do it. You will manage. And whether that's going for a walk around the block, whether it's actual physical exercise inside your home, eating properly, or splurging on a bag of Doritos, whatever it's going to be, it's just, make sure that you are getting that sleep in. And if you do those 3 things, you're going to be, like Bob Marley said, you're going to be all right. So
I love it. Now, I've had a great time chatting with you. If people want to continue the conversation, find you, message you, reach out to you, maybe, for future events, even to have you speak to, their crowds, what is the best way to get in contact with you?
So they can email me. I'll give a direct email to my business. So it's j.andrews@solution4u. So that's the number 4 and the capital U.com. Or what they can do is look me up on LinkedIn. I'm very active on LinkedIn. I'm there helping a lot of business professionals out there, giving inspirational and advice. So I'm quite active on there. So just reach out, find me there, and I don't say no to anyone. So if you need help, I'm here to help. My why in this world is to positively affect one person every single day. So if I've done that for any of you out there, then I can go to bed and sleep very well tonight knowing that I've done that.
Well, you've given me a boost of happiness today and positivity. So just letting you know that that's already happened today.
Oh, thanks. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you very much. And we'll close out.